How's your Sunday? How's your Sunday, Ray? You seem a little tired.
It's great. I took a nap today. It was awesome.
I also took a nap. I'm actually just waking up. If you see, I have my patented
Ooh, cup of coffee.
6 o'clock coffee followed up with a stout. That's generally how that goes.
Sounds pretty good right there.
Got to keep it level.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a nice nap.
I wish I
early
got a
morning-
nap in today.
I have learned to be extremely productive from the hours of like 6 to 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much fucking downhill from there.
Oh yeah.
And then I get a surge around like 8 or 9, and then then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm done. I don't know if anyone
What
else
happens when
has
you have
that.
kids, right?
I guess. I also, the wife and I visited Europe last year, and that's just how they do it in Spain. And I fucking love Spain. I would love to have that. You just wake up early, get your shit done in the morning, and then by the mid siesta, you have a lunch. Maybe everyone smokes there, Bill. You'd love it. So you have a couple butts, you have a little cocktail or beer, whatever. You go fucking take a nap, and then around 6 or 7, you kind of wake again. You eat around 9 or 10, and then you're in bed at like 12, maybe 1 o'clock. Then you fire it up again on like 6 hours of sleep. That's fucking money for me.
I do that.
I gotta really start.
I could live with that.
I gotta start really rethinking my whole lifescape here.
I don't think they like your kind over there in Spain, do they?
I got around all right.
Tall, pale, white man. I don't think they like that kind over there.
Spain's fine. They seem to like everybody over there.
Oh.
I think it's the other parts of the world you're thinking about, like America.
Oh, try. Yes, I apologize.
They don't like the opposite of me or anything other than me
Yeah, true.
or us. But yeah, I know. I don't think they give a fuck about Brady or the Red Sox, Dark 30 or Jason Tatum playing in tonight's game or not. So
Is he playing?
there goes that ship. He's not playing, Bill.
No.
He's
not
playing. He's playing tonight, Bill.
Monday? Okay.
Monday night.
I'm interested to see. No, this is a little bit of extended here, cold open, but I am interested to see Billy Bad Wings. This is day 3 on the initial, and you're not quite Billy Squints, not quite Sleepy Bill, just in a little bit of a fucking trance, like
the perfect numb. He's in the perfect numb right now.
Is he playing tonight? Like, I can imagine Bill doesn't know what the fuck is going on in any part of his life other than what's like 2 feet in front of him.
It was a very late night. Oh, God, he did it again. Sorry.
Billy.
Oh, spoiler alert.
God
damn it, Bill. You know we stream, you son of a bitch.
You can see it on my screen.
He doesn't care.
know,
He's at real time. He's in the Matrix, baby. He needs that real time shit.
Fucking A. Fucking A. All right. Well, welcome to the Simple Minds Sports Show. Monday headline, January 25th. As behind me, I'm assuming we watched Brady throw another crippling interception, and all that we thought of Thomas Edward Brady. Oh, he got hurt. He got hit. I mean, that's a bad one. He needs help from his receiver. Come back for that.
That was so underthrown, Mike Evans, though. Oh,
he got hit, Bill.
I know. He did get hit.
He got tackled.
Ooh, look at those rays.
Mike Evans is not a winning player. Okay, fucking A. We're gonna get so distracted by the show because Bill had to go early. All right, whatever. Welcome to the show.
You look like Thomas the Engine right there, Bill. Choo choo choo.
Bill, is that your fancy shirt that you're wearing?
That's his evening shirt. Come on now.
It's got a loose collar.
He's going to make my golf one. I love.
He's going to meet the army tonight to get all his money for weapons and such and supplies.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, he did
the
he did the low zip, so you know he has something under there.
Well, that's an actual shirt under this thing, like I usually don't.
Ray, I think we both fucked that all up. We might have to start this whole thing over. We're supposed to be doing Fat Tuesday?
Correct.
Okay.
I was letting you go. I don't like to interrupt you at all.
You fucking said tonight, Monday.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But you were on a roll, so I was just letting you go. I don't like to say, hey, Rich, we're supposed to be doing Fat Tuesday because you know what your reply would be? You fat cunt! Shut the
Bill.
fuck up, producer Ray.
Before I gave us the intro, did Raymond not correct you and say no? He'll play tonight, Monday.
Yes, he did
And
say
then
tonight,
I went
Monday.
on to say it's Monday headlines.
Well, we're talking about the games, talking
Look,
about
backpedal all you want, you fat cunt. Just shut the fuck up next time. Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition, a look around the NHL. I hope you Googled Raymond. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours fucking
Drysaddle's having a slow start to the season. Oh, that should be fun. Okay, well, let's try and talk hockey so Bill gets out on time as we watch the NFC fucking championship game behind us. This should go well. Our hockey shows have gone extremely well as of late, so this will fall right in line. Bill, I'm going to lean on you on this one. You are our true hockey guy. I know Ray is the hockey guy, but that was last year. He had one stat on the number one overall pick that really blew us away, and it's pretty much been fucking downhill from there, if I'm going to be honest. And as long as we're on the honest train, I'm really a poser in this situation too. I pay attention, but not as much as you, Bill. So let's talk hockey. We are a weekend, and let me find my place because I lost it already. Where we can just give me your general who stood out, what stood out. What have you thought of the league so far?
I mean, the schedule is what really stands out. I mean, I don't think it's been too exciting, like play wise. You're seeing a lot of slow starts with the condensed training camp. No preseason games, but man, hockey every other night. You're bringing a lot more excitement in the game. It just has that playoff feel right now, and that's been my biggest takeaway right in the early going. Outside of Boston living up to projections so far.
Are you a big neutral site hockey guy? Like, we know that you have the Atlanta Braves as your other baseball team. Do you have another hockey team as well?
No, just Bruins. I watch hockey a lot, and especially when it's on. I just like hockey. It's fun. I think it's the best sport to watch, especially live. It's fucking awesome. You hear everything from the ice. It's fucking great.
What surprises have jumped out to you, Ray?
Teams coming out slow. I mean, most teams only had 3 months off before starting up again with a week training camp. I mean, it's been a real slow start for some of these teams. As you see, the Bruins are finally getting out of their scoring slump, scoring 6 goals against the Flyers the other day. So, yeah, I mean, slow. Free agents, rookies coming in, not really having a chance to gel other players on the team, like in years past with training camps and in preseason. So, yeah, it's been a slow start, but it's going to get better. That's for sure.
Yeah, nothing really jumped out in terms of surprises. I mean, in the hometown, I think that the Bruins going what were the minute total? Everyone's tweeting out the minutes total of no 5-on-5 goals until they started to get on board with the Flyers there in that last couple games. Going your first 3 games with a fucking scoring goal 5-on-5, that's at the top of the list league wide in terms of a surprise.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of ridiculous. You finally got through with Philly though. You saw, Studnicka got one the first Philly game. He won there in overtime on a kind of big fucking Tuca night and there. So, I mean, yeah, you're finally seeing it. And what you saw, Saturday night against the Flyers, you scored 6 goals. There was 3 of them that were 5-on-5. This team is getting it right now. I mean, you're seeing it after the slow start. They're going to come around. That's why I was pretty optimistic about it, especially with Pasta coming back.
Yeah.
You're going to move Studnicka down. You're going to move DeBrus down. And you're going to slide him right back in that number 1 line. And you're going to see a lot more 5-on-5 goals now because you're going to have – I think especially if DeBrus keeps kind of playing. I know he hasn't scored, but he had a sick fucking OT winner the other night in the shootout. So, I mean, if he can get his game going where you need it to and you start getting more consistent play down that lineup, this team can score.
It's still the if
there's
with
still
fucking DeBrusque in that second
sure.
line. Look, the guys that have jumped out for me, and I promise I'm just gonna bite the bullet and get fucking NHL package tonight probably because I hate not being fuck Nesson, fuck YouTube TV, all of you greedy cunts. Trying to stream or follow up on this thing is very, very annoying. But what I have seen, the Charlie Coyle, Craig Smith combination there started to click and that started to work. And Cassidy pushing the right buttons on the left wing with whoever was. With
Trent Frederick, who I've never been high on him, but he's moving over from center. And
I think Bill, not to interrupt you, but I think he'll just I think he's comfortable. If those two guys can click, he's comfortable throwing whoever's hot on that
Yeah, Bjork.
side.
You'll see Bjork get up there
Who can
too.
start? Yeah, I mean Bjork is a perfect example of a guy that can get hot. And now let us not forget everyone's new favorite goddamn son for the Boston Bruins. What's his new nickname on the power play? Cam Ritchie.
Oh, God. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, dude, he's got 2 power play goals. He's, been one of your best forwards until recently. The first 3 games, he was the best forward on your team. But now you're starting to see Bergeron and Marchand really come in. They're starting to click too. And then even Charlie Coyle, he had a disgusting goal off of, I think, Craig Smith pass. So, I mean, that dynamic is huge. This is what we were hoping for. When you signed him in the offseason, you wanted him to slide right there in that right wing with Charlie Coyle. You saw it with Marcus Johansson and Danton Heinen a couple years ago when they made the Coyle trade. They really flourished in that fucking 2018 or 19 Stanley Cup. That was their line was hot, and that's what you're hoping for. If you can get consistent play out of that third line.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll certainly be a game changer. Yeah, I agree. I think everyone obviously is going to struggle from it from the no training camp. Like you saw the Flyers come out, and I think they had 11 goals in their first 2 games, or maybe it was 3 games, and then the Bruins were able to shut them down. They obviously had that the one where they were kind of going back and forth there in the third, but it's just everyone's got to get their feet underneath them. The problem is, like you said, Bill, it's so fast and furious, and it's 56 games. We talked about this. The Bruins having an older core, you don't have a ton of time to ramp up. Like
No.
you can't be taking L's. You got to start racking up and stacking up points. Like the Lightning are the guys that stood out to me. No Kucherov, and they're still just whatever. Well-oiled machine, man. They're still just cranking along.
Yeah,
I think they got a couple. I think
but other than that,
the last game, right?
Good. Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
But they
got
still
blown
had.
out.
I mean, they still. I think have a game in hand, and
Yeah, they're 3-1 and 1.
are the division leader in points. So
yeah, they have 10, I think.
they're they're still doing their thing. So there's teams like that are like, if you get off to a hot start, you're in real good shape. You're in real good shape.
Look at the
because a lot of these
Canadiens.
teams are going to have to.
We're 0-2. Jesus Christ.
They're you look at the Canadiens, they're in first place. They have the most points in the NHL right now in that Canadian division. So I mean, you want to talk about a hot start. Like there was a lot of talk. They were a sleeper team. They made a couple good moves in the offseason. And as much as I fucking hate his guts, Claude Julien there, but he knows how to push the buttons with that team. I mean, they play that defensive game that fucking Claude loves.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good start to get up there because I don't think the Canadian divisions is super strong. You're seeing Toronto playing okay, but outside of that, I mean, Winnipeg just made a move. We'll see if that helps. But I mean, Edmonton's hasn't looked great, and even Calgary. So I mean, the Canadians, you want to get a hot start, they ride that to the rest of the way. This is what you need, especially with an older team. Older goalie. Kelly Price is up there too.
They're an interesting. They're an interesting team because, like you said, you got Claude up there who you don't expect to see fireworks out of by any means. But who's that young kid, that super fast young kid that that splashed on the scene last year? Fuck.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I'll figure it out.
They traded Domi or traded for him, I think, Max Domi or whatever. They dumped him.
But yeah, he's one of he's got a lightning quick shot, one of the fastest guys out there. It's just not what you expect to see at a Claude Julien team. So yeah, that's another interesting surprise. What do you think of the division realignment, Raymond?
I think the East is loaded. I mean, you got the Bruins, Capitals, Flyers, Penguins, Islanders, Rangers all made the playoffs last year. That's a pretty loaded division. The North, it's pretty cool seeing all the Canadian teams playing against each other because you really don't have that. You never see Vancouver coming over here. They do it once a year with Montreal, Toronto, and all the East Coast teams. So it's nice to see that. The Western team, though, Vegas, the Avs, those are 2 hot teams, 2 hot young teams. I mean, those are going to be a powerhouse to watch. And then the Central, you just got the Lightning, who, it's going to be a layup for them this year, I think, going forward, because I don't think that division's very strong. It's a very weak division with those Southern teams, except for the Stars who made the finals last year, but it's a very weak division.
Yeah, they kind of lucked out, huh?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, the East, that's the best division. So, I mean, you want to talk about getting on a hot start. Bruins have 7 points. They're 1 point out of the top seed behind the Capitals. That's the toughest division in hockey, and you're going to see it all year. I think it's going to be a dogfight for those playoff spots in this division. It literally, the top 4 seeds, it's going to be a dogfight. There's so much talent top to bottom in the East. It's ridiculous. And then the same thing with the West. I mean, the Golden Knights and the St. Louis Blues there, Colorado, that's a fucking Those are tough teams. Like Colorado's probably number 2 team in the league, number 1 in the power rankings. But
they're fucking awesome.
Wherever you want to put the Lightning, so I mean they're right there, and then the Wild can make some new moves in that division too. I think they're they dump some older talent, but I mean they're right up there. You see Donato still up there. He came over in the Charlie Coyle deal. So I mean those are the divisions. I like it. I think it's just going to be a dogfight. You're going to see like true playoff teams.
I love it. I'm the Canadian division is fucking cool to me. It's very cool to me. Like I just think that divisions create rivalries and rivalries create good sports. So that's why I like it. I don't like I know they were all pretty much generally regionalized before with some like spatterings or whatever, but they should all just be like that. And they should take a book out of the NFL where you don't have to necessarily play everyone every year. Now, the NHL can because obviously there's so many games, but I don't think it has to be as even. Like they should load up the division games, and that just is what it is. It's maybe not the fairest competition, but it's the best entertainment value. Yeah. Like you especially these East Coast, like just the way sports are taken in here, and that's why I like the Northern Division with the Canada teams, the way they fucking consume hockey, how intense that could get, especially when fans are started to, allowed back in the stadium. I love it. I think that's the way to go. I think that's absolutely the way to go. Or I could go completely opposite, get rid of all of the fucking divisions and just schedule it that way. Because when it comes to the playoff time, like you said, someone in the East, someone in the West, they're going to get screwed. And you're not going to get the top teams in there. I know hockey does it a little bit differently, and
points.
It's goddamn impossible to keep up with the changes that they make every 3-5 years with their playoffs. But I've liked it so far. I think it's going to breed a lot of intense competition if they keep it this way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the rivalry thing's huge. I mean, you just look at the Bruins with the Rangers, even the Islanders now. You're seeing a little chirping from the fucking Devils, too. I mean, you play these teams all year. I mean, that's what's the biggest thing. And you're playing them on back-to-back games, too. So,
great.
I mean, that way, if you have bad blood, it's really going to spill out in these division games because you're not seeing anybody else. I mean, it kind of does suck a little bit as a fan because I mean the Bruins Toronto, you get them 4 times a year, which is always huge games. The talent level on both teams is through the fucking roof. So you kind of miss that new rivalry is what over the last like 5 or 6 years. So I mean, or longer than that shit.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruins are certainly going to miss the Canadians and seeing them.
That
I
one
mean,
especially.
That's forever. I think they, the NHL probably will not allow that to continue. But if they were to relook at it, regionalizing it and it's more about keeping the schedule closer to what it is and seeing these teams more often, more frequently. You're going to create that type. We've said it before on a competitive standpoint. You're going to create a playoff type environment, seeing these teams back to back. That's also going to create like the bad blood and the chippiness, seeing these teams back to back and as often as they do, which is good. That's what you want. Fuck these Nancy boys and their everybody's friends and buddies rooting for each other. That's not what I want to see in sports. I want to see hate. I want to see fucking real sports hate. That's what I want to see.
The second game, didn't they start off with a fight against the Devils after a big hit? The Devils laid on the Bruins.
Oh, they were running Tuukka, right?
It was, they kept Woods ran Tuukka twice, so Miller beat the shit out of him after, that's what's awesome about hockey too. I mean, I would go back like Andrew Ferentz in that 2011 team. Those guys, it's bad blood when you're on the ice. They'll fight his best friend. You saw fucking Olaf Kolzig and fucking Byron Dafoe, best men at each other's wedding, got in a fight one game too. So I mean, that's you don't see that shit much in the fucking NBA and all that shit. I know that's going way back.
Well, it's certainly a different league, and it's a different type of athlete, that's for sure, which is a good thing. Which leads me to my next question involving COVID, which we've seen some games get postponed, but obviously to this point, it's only been about a little over a week here for the NHL. But we've seen, I mean, at the NBA early in their season had it basically derailed. The Celtics missed 3 or 4 games. The Wizards are missed 6 straight. Are they even playing yet? I don't know.
I don't even know.
So obviously we saw the NFL and the debacle they went through, MLB and St. Louis and the Marlins and the debacle they went through. So far, knock on wood, the NHL has had some positive tests, but it hasn't had an outbreak like we've seen in the other sports. Is that due just to the athlete and the lack of douche that is in a hockey player that is inherent in these baseball, basketball, and football players and their shitbag attitudes and their self-centered ways and going out to strip clubs and everything else. Hockey guys just want to play hockey and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
No.
hockey players are a different breed. Go ahead, Ray.
I'll give you Exhibit A, the Dallas Stars, who had 17 players test positive before the season started and only played one game. And then Exhibit B, our boy David Pasternak, who came to America and decided to go rollerblading, play roller hockey, and get COVID and not be able to play the first couple of games of the playoffs. So, yeah.
So are those Exhibit A and B of they are just as douchey?
Yes. Just as douchey.
So you have Exhibit A and B, and that's it.
C, you're a cunt.
Not a very compelling argument there, Raymond.
Not very compelling.
How is that not? They're the same as basketball players and everyone else.
No,
You
they're
don't
not.
think Tyler Seguin was out fucking whores when he was when he got COVID?
Yeah, fine, but the evidence is what it is, right? Every goddamn team in the NFL had some type of outbreak that threatened games, basically. The MLB had the St. Louis Cardinals played like 17 fucking doubleheaders. They didn't have teams be able to play the same amount of games because idiots couldn't just play baseball. The NHL, yeah, you have your prima donnas. Everybody does. Tyler Seguin probably, although I think he's kind of grown up. David Pasternak, we know is an idiot. So sure, yeah, that's fine. But as a whole in the league, we haven't seen the outbreak.
It's week 1.
Yeah, and in week 1 in the NBA, they almost had to shut the fucking season down.
Yeah.
And
It's
in week
hockey.
one of the MLB, the Marlins all went to strip clubs in Atlanta and almost infected the entire city of Philadelphia. In week 1 of the NFL, or was it week 3 of the NFL, the Titans
Bills Titans
went and played on a high school football field and nearly fucking infected all of the state of Tennessee. So yeah, it is better than the rest of the goddamn leagues. Ray, you hockey hating bitch.
Sorry, I'm not a hockey hating bitch. I didn't mean that. I love you.
Bill, anything to add? Nope. Great. Well, I just want to run through some teams. Then let's do some power ranking. It can be a little bit nonchalant. Not as is official. You don't have to give me technically your ones. It's very early, but yeah, I just want to see who do you think is at the top. I'll start. Lightning should be at the top, obviously. That they're the defending champions. They still have one of the best rosters in the league. They're still clicking. They're confident. They know what it takes. All those guys know what it takes to win now. But a couple of the teams that are up there that I really, really like are in the West. You mentioned them, Bill. The Avalanche are stacked. McKinnon, Ratananen, Gabriel Landskog.
He's the captain. Yep.
Kale Maker is a fucking stud. That kid is nasty.
Rookie of the year, won the Calder Trophy.
They're young. They're fast. They have something to prove. They're hungry. They lost earlier than they probably should have last year. So that's
got hurt.
That's going to breed something. So I like them. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but an expansion team should not be able to stay as this competitive as the Golden Knights have since they were expanded into the NHL.
I 100% agree.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they just change all the rules so Seattle won't be like this?
Yeah, because they got loaded. And it was a lot of like teams dumping contracts, so they didn't protect a lot of these guys. So a lot of them was overinflated contracts, but they put the talent there and they lost in the finals. That's insane. Yeah. Their first year they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like that should not happen. I mean, you look at the Texans, you look at the Cleveland when they come back, you look at all these teams in the NFL. Yeah, you usually get a top draft pick. You usually get the top 3 pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Second or third, I think it is. But Jesus Christ, dude, this team got stacked.
They went to, I know you just said this, but they went to the finals, and now they've been a threat ever since. As an expansion team, that's unheard of. Now, whatever, you want to blame it on the rules, whatever. That's fine. But this year, again, they look awesome. They look really, really good. They look strong.
Their goalies are fucking disgusting. Lerner and Marc-Andre Fleury, dude, they rival the Bruins as the best tandem in the hockey. They're disgusting.
And what the shit? I just had a blank. The Mark Strong is, I know he's older, but he's been lights out this season and has been as solid as ever in his career. So those are the teams that are kind of popping out to me at the top. Just just to start the season. I don't know if you guys have anybody else you want to throw in there.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned earlier the Lightning, not missing a beat with Kucherov out. And then the Canadians, I mentioned them earlier, they have 10 points. They're leading the hockey in points right now, and they look strong. They got a nice young roster. Brandon Gallagher, Shea Weber's still there. So, I mean, that team, they're well coached. As much as I fucking hate Julian, I think he's a little overrated. I kind of put him in the Doc Rivers mold when we compared him, solid coach, but ugh.
Yeah.
So I mean, even Carey Price still one of the best goalies in hockey. So I mean, they're right up there. And then again, yeah, Golden Knights are disgusting. They're goalie tandem. Marc-Andre Fleury's got 3 Stanley Cups. He's disgusting. He's a great fucking postseason goalie. He's brought leadership to that team, and they could have easily beat Washington tonight in 2018.
Would you move him? I mean, I know he's on the trade block like he's been there for about 2 years because of the duplicity that they have at the position.
But and his contract too.
Right, but if they didn't have somebody else to play, they want to move him. Would you move him?
Yeah, and the reason I think they have under $1 million in salary cap space. They're tight to that. That's hard. NHL has a hard cap. You can't go over it at all, and it's hard to manipulate the way the NFL can manipulate it and shit. So yeah, I mean, he's one of your best trade pieces, but it's hard to move him when you're one of the best. You're a top 5 team in the NHL right now.
Well, that's why I asked. Because the reason I asked the question is if you're competing for a title, and look, Marc-Andre Fleury is not going to get your first-round pick in return. So, your return is going to be minimal. You can't bring back salary. I don't know if I move him. I mean, I think you just go with it and try and win and let him walk. You're an expansion team. This is your fucking 3rd year in the league.
Yeah.
You're playing with house money. Just go for it. If Lerner gets hurt, you have the guy. So, or if Fleury gets hurt, you have the guy. So I know he's been out there, but I would imagine that's why they're so hesitant and they're looking for the perfect deal, because why would you move a guy in a position that they're in? I get the salary cap space, but they got other guys they can move like that. We talked about Pacioretty earlier this year. So
he's a leader too. And you mentioned Pacioretty earlier. In the winter was because they were looking to dump cap.
Still the winter, Bill.
Yeah, I know, but December, like a month ago. So I mean, they were looking to dump cap because he's $7.5 million. I know.
Yeah. No,
but
have to.
You're a good analogy with playing with house money. You haven't gone through the fucking lull of being a shit team yet. So I'd win at all costs. This is your window now. Your window is here. You have a fucking rabid fan base that you're still trying to build as an expansion team, because there's no one really from Vegas. It's everybody moves to Vegas, right? So I mean, same thing with LA. Everybody fucking moves to LA. So I mean, you're trying to build it. You win now. Win at all costs. And It sounds like they have the owner to do it, because that's why he wasn't trying to dump Max there earlier. He's like, no. We have a chance to win. Do it. You got a nice brand new arena there. Fucking win.
Yeah, they might as well. That cap situation might burn them if they get injuries or anything else. But the breaks in professional sports, you got to go for it. Ray, you want to throw anybody else in the list here?
Obviously, the Canadians, they haven't lost in regulation yet, so that'd be another top team to put out there. Caps, they're first place in the East. But yeah, other than that, Golden Knights, Avs, Lightning. Those are all top teams.
Can I give you a couple bottom feeders that should be worried, or their fan base should be worried? The Edmonton Oilers and the Buffalo Sabres both have some of the best young talent in the NHL on their team, and they suck. The Edmonton Oilers they couldn't stop a fly from scoring on them. Buffalo, I don't know. It's Buffalo. They're a loser goddamn city.
They're in a stacked division. They're in a no-win. That's probably why you saw them go out and get Taylor Hall for.
Yeah, but they went out and got other free agents too, didn't they? They kind of went out at a free agency splurge this offseason.
Well, they're trying to make Jack Eichel happen.
Yeah, they spent some money for Jack Eichel, which is my point. You have Jack Eichel, who is a top centerman, young centerman in the league. Obviously, Connor McDavid in Edmonton and Draisaitl, and those guys, they're not going to stay there forever. These guys move in the NHL. We just saw it with the Blue Jackets in Winnipeg, moving their disgruntled young stars. I would be worried if I was an Edmonton fan or if I was a Buffalo. I'm especially worried if I'm a Buffalo fan, because we heard Eichel came out and denied those rumors last year that he wanted to leave, but we know it's fucking true. We know that the agent leaked that shit.
Live in fucking Buffalo.
And then Buffalo went out and spent that money. They brought in one of the league-wide known cancers in Taylor Hall on a 1-year deal at 29, 30 years old to try and prove that they wanted to win, and they suck again. What do they have? 1 win, maybe 2?
One. The one win.
They have 1 win. So I would just say I would just be worried. I'd be worried if I were those teams, and if Eichel's on the, if now you guys know this. I don't know if I've said this on the show a lot, but the Bruins need to make a major shift. I think. I know that they just look good last couple of games, but if one of these young guys is available, go give them the fucking farm. Give them the farm. Start over if you're a Bruins. Obviously, you're not going to trade Bergeron or Marchand, but
that was a good
Pasternak,
Dubois and Lane trade. That's solid. I mean, they were both top 5 picks. I mean, Lane went
Top
number
three.
2. Top 3, yeah. Lane went number 2. He's had 140 goals in 259 games. You know, I mean, he's has talent. I think he scored his second year at 40 goals. You know, the last couple of years he's slowed down a little bit, but that's the talent. The Bruins, I don't think they could have matched that offer, obviously, because you're basically trading the number 2 pick for the number 3 pick.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it, and I probably have to backtrack a little bit on what I was saying because of the draft capital that Lane carries and his talent, obviously, yes. But I think the draft capital puts it over the edge in terms of what the Bruins could have offered. Now, they weren't going to get away with sending 2 players like the Jets did, but I thought that they could have thrown in a draft pick, given a defenseman to kind of even things out. But you're probably right. I think Lane probably pushes them over the edge in that deal.
Yeah, but I think you're going to see some small moves. The young kids have actually played well, especially on defense. You know, they've especially against fucking the Philly, who's a good offensive team. Philly's a good skilled team, and they shut them right down in basically the 2 games. I mean, I know Tuukka stood on his head in overtime on Thursday night, but Jesus Christ, the young guys are playing good. You saw Connor Clifton come in playing on his offhand the other night with Grzelcyk out. So I mean, it's surprising and it's like hopeful and encouraging to see them play this decent so far, like decent. So I mean, that's what you hope for. So I mean, you might just add there. I mean, I think that's a place you're probably most likely to add going. I don't think a big move's going to come. I don't think you're going to see a huge splash unless you start falling out of it. Maybe you start moving these guys. Krejci's the number 1 guy, but I mean, he's got a no movement clause, and I don't know if they're Sweeney. I don't think is going to break up the core of these guys. Honestly.
You're probably right. I just would like it to happen. And I'll say, talking Bruins here and defensemen, if those young kids can play and they have a defense that looks the way that did right now, I wouldn't touch it. Like, this was their whole plan. You have young defensemen that are price controlled. If you're going to make a move, go and improve your scoring at the wing, which has held you down for years. For years, it's held you down. So if you've invested draft capital in these young defensemen, now you're giving them a shot. You let your 14-year captain walk out the door so these guys could have a shot. Don't go make this small minor move to bring in some veteran who will be here for a year or two. If the defense looks formidable and okay, and if you have Tuukka Rask playing the way he's playing behind you, then you can get away with it. If they're going to make a move at that point, I would still go for scoring, because I don't think DeBrusk and Kachuk are going to be able to do it on the second line.
I'm fine. Like I said, I'm hopeful for DeBrusk, but man, you got to address that Krejci's left wing. You got to. It's a problem. Kachuk's beat up again. This guy cannot stay healthy. He was a number 1 pick or first round draft pick in Anaheim, and they dumped him. He's 24 years old. They dumped him for a reason. You don't usually give up guys like that to get a first round pick and David Backes back in return. Right. You don't do that. So I mean, if you want to do something, you got to address that. You need it, because you need the 3 lines of scoring. You got to. How much time's left?
Minute 36. This has been the Simple Minds Sports Show. Fat Tuesday, around the NHL edition. We'll be back on Wednesday. We're gonna tune in for the last minute 36 of this game. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.